Listeners, picture a quiet town where everyone knows everyone, Willow Creek. But sometimes, the quiet hides secrets waiting to be uncovered. Detective Lydia Harper receives an unexpected letter that changes everything. The town of Willow Creek was shrouded in the soft haze of early morning. Birds chirped lazily, and the smell of fresh bread from the corner bakery drifted through the narrow streets. Detective Lydia Harper sipped her coffee in the small kitchen of her modest home, savoring the calm. The peace was shattered with the sudden clatter of the mailbox. Harper glanced outside to see a single, cream-colored envelope lying in the damp grass. The handwriting was precise, almost formal, yet unfamiliar. She picked it up, the paper crisp, despite the morning dew. Back inside, she tore it open carefully. The note inside read, Detective Harper, NIF. You wish to uncover the truth about Willow Creek. Come to the old Miller estate tonight at 9 p.m. Come alone. Trust no one. Harper's brow furrowed. The Miller estate had been abandoned for years, a grand house slowly crumbling at the edge of town. Stories of disappearances, strange sightings, and whispers of hidden treasures surrounded it like a veil of superstition. Curious, she murmured, setting down her coffee. A thrill ran through her, part anticipation, part caution. Whoever had sent this letter knew she would investigate, but why? And what truth were they referring to? Mid-afternoon, Harper began her preparation. She double-checked her coat pockets, notebook, flashlight, revolver, and the small pair of binoculars she kept for stakeouts. The town moved around her, oblivious to the tension gathering at the Miller estate. At precisely 9 p.m., Harper parked her car near the estate, careful to stay hidden in the shadows. The moon reflected off the wet grass, illuminating the path leading to the main entrance. The old iron gates creaked softly in the breeze, a warning or perhaps an invitation. NNSHE approached cautiously, flashlight in hand, noting the warped wood and broken windows. Every step forward echoed in the silent night, magnifying the sense that the estate itself was alive, waiting, watching. Inside, the house smelled of mildew and dust. Wallpaper peeled from the walls, and faded portraits stared down from the cracked frames. Harper moved slowly, scanning each room. The letter's sender had promised answers, but there was no sign of anyone yet. Then she saw it. A faint light from the library at the far end of the hallway. She moved closer, each step careful, ears straining for sound. In the center of the room, a small candle burned on a desk, next to a single chair. The chair faced away from her, as if someone had been sitting there moments before. And Harper's pulse quickened. She raised her flashlight, moving closer. And then, a voice, low, almost a whisper, filled the room. Detective Harper, you came. And her eyes darted to the chair. It was empty. Yet the voice lingered in the air, chilling and urgent. Someone had been here, someone who knew her, and they were waiting to reveal a secret buried for decades in Willow Creek. Ned Harper stepped forward, flashlight cutting through the dim light. On the desk lay a small, leather-bound journal, its pages slightly ajar. The first entry read, Nen, to the one who seeks the truth, beware. Some secrets want to stay hidden. A mysterious journal and a whispered voice pulled Detective Harper deeper into the secrets of the Miller estate. What was hidden in Willow Creek for decades begins to surface, and danger is near. And Harper's hand trembled slightly as she lifted the leather-bound journal from the desk. The candlelight flickered, casting shadows across the walls, making the peeling wallpaper seem to move in the corners of her eyes. She flipped the cover open and began to read, careful not to disturb whatever unseen presence might still be in the room. The first page was written in precise, deliberate handwriting. Willow Creek is not as it seems. Some families guard secrets that could destroy the town if revealed. If you are reading this, you are either very brave or very foolish. And Harper's pulse quickened. The journal was clearly old, but the warning felt immediate, alive. She glanced around the library, the shelves crowded with dusty tomes and cobweb-covered ornaments. Every creak of the floorboards echoed like a drumbeat in the silent house. And a sudden movement at the window caught her attention. Harper froze, her flashlight swinging toward the sound. Nothing. Only the moonlight reflected off the broken glass, distorted by raindrops from the evening drizzle. NNSHE returned to the journal. Another entry detailed strange disappearances. Children, servants, even a local historian who had once questioned the Millers' affairs. Names, dates, and cryptic notes suggested a pattern. Harper's detective instincts sharpened. This wasn't just an abandoned estate. It was the center of a decades-long mystery. Nay's shadow moved across the far corner of the library. Harper's heart leapt. Someone was inside the house. "Show yourself," she commanded, voice steady despite the tension. No reply. Only silence, thick and expectant. And Harper carefully closed the journal and set it on the desk. She began searching the shelves, scanning for hidden compartments or notes that might explain the voice and the warnings. Behind a row of old encyclopedias, she found a small latch. Pulling it revealed a narrow slot containing a single folded note, and unfolding it, she read "The past watches you. Some truths are dangerous. The key to the Millers' secret is in the clock tower by the creek. Be vigilant. Trust no one. NNHER mind raced. The clock tower was an abandoned structure near Willow Creek, long rumored to be haunted. Every local had a story. Disappearances, whispers, even sightings of lights flickering late at night. But now, it seemed, the legend was connected to the very mystery she had been drawn into. Harper glanced around the library again. The air felt heavier, as if the house itself was breathing around her. She could hear the faint drip of water somewhere above, a leak in the roof perhaps, but also the almost imperceptible sound of footsteps, careful, deliberate, moving in the shadows. NSHE took a step toward the door. "I'm not here to harm anyone," she called, hoping to draw out whoever was inside. Silence answered. NNTHE detective's instincts screamed that someone was waiting, watching, and possibly following her movements. Whoever had left the journal and the note was counting on her to act, to move, to uncover the secrets hidden for generations. Harper gripped the flashlight tighter. The next step would take her out of the library and toward the creek, where the old clock tower loomed like a sentinel over Willow Creek. Somewhere in the shadows, a presence followed, unseen, patient, and waiting for her to make a mistake. A journal, a hidden note, and the promise of answers lead Detective Harper to the old clock tower by Willow Creek. Midnight tolls, shadows stretch, and the first real revelation waits. But danger is near. NNTHE rain had eased to a gentle mist as Harper approached the clock tower, its silhouette looming against the cloudy night sky. Willow Creek's streets were deserted, street lamps reflecting off puddles like scattered lanterns. She moved quietly, flashlight in hand, mind alert to every sound. NNTHE clock tower had been abandoned for decades. Its windows were boarded, its doors rusted shut, yet the letter's instructions had been clear. The key to the Millers' secret was here. Harper's instincts told her this was where the past and present would collide. Pushing the heavy door open, the hinges groaned loudly, sending a shiver down her spine. The interior smelled of damp wood and old iron. She swept her flashlight across the room, dust, cobwebs, and the massive gears of the clock mechanism. Every creak of the old floorboards echoed through the hollow space. Then she noticed movement. A shadow slipped along the far wall, almost imperceptible. Harper froze, hand on her revolver. "Who's there?" she called, voice steady. And a figure emerged, tall and cautious, clearly surprised by her presence. "Detective Harper?" the voice whispered. Harper lowered the flashlight slightly. "Yes. Who are you? And why are you here?" NNTHE figure stepped closer into the light. It was a young man, soaked from the rain, eyes wide with urgency. I found something the Millers tried to hide. You shouldn't be alone here." And Harper's detective instincts kicked in. "Who sent you?" "I don't know," he admitted, shivering. "I just followed clues, notes, the journal. There's more than one secret, and it's dangerous." Harper nodded, motioning for him to stay close. She glanced at the massive gears of the clock, its pendulum long still, yet somehow alive in the shadows. Among the machinery, she noticed a small, folded envelope wedged behind a beam. She retrieved it carefully, unfolding the note inside Nen. The past is not dead. The Millers. Choices still breathe. To uncover the truth, follow the hidden path beneath the creek. But beware, you are being watched. NHER pulse quickened. The journal, the letters, the note, all pointed to a hidden underground passage near the creek. The mystery was deeper than she had anticipated, extending beyond the estate, beyond the town streets, into the very foundation of Willow Creek. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps echoed behind her. Harper spun, flashlight catching the silhouette of another figure, darting toward the tower entrance. "Wait," she called, but the figure vanished into the mist outside. NNTHE detective's mind raced. Someone else knew about the secrets, someone ready to act to keep them hidden. She had to move carefully, following the clues without alerting whoever was watching. Harper turned back to the young man. "We follow the notes. Underground, by the creek. But we stay alert. Someone's tracking our every move." Nodded nervously, glancing toward the shadowed corners of the tower. "Aye, I'll go with you. But I don't know what's waiting down there." As they stepped toward the staircase leading down from the clock tower, Harper felt the weight of unseen eyes on her back. Somewhere outside, in the mist and shadows of Willow Creek, someone was waiting, patient and calculating, ready to intervene before the town's secrets could be revealed. Detective Harper and her unexpected companion followed the clues from the clock tower to a hidden passage beneath Willow Creek. The past is buried here, but some secrets are eager to stay hidden. NNTHE mist hung low over Willow Creek as Harper and the young man made their way toward the creek bank. The ground was slick with rain, and the moonlight reflected off the water in silver streaks. According to the notes, the entrance to the hidden passage was beneath a small, rusted bridge, long rumored to be unstable. "Are you sure this is safe?" the young man whispered, glancing nervously at the shadowed water. Harper's eyes scanned the bridge, noting the worn planks and the faint outline of a hatch hidden beneath moss. "It's as safe as we can make it. The Millers wouldn't leave such instructions without a reason. Stay close and watch your step." NSHE lifted the hatch carefully, revealing a dark stairwell leading down into the earth. The smell of damp stone and earth drifted up, mingling with the scent of creek water. Harper clicked on her flashlight, the beam cutting through the darkness, illuminating the narrow walls. An NTHE passage was tight and low, forcing them to move slowly. Every step echoed through the tunnel, each drip of water magnified in the silence. Harper kept her revolver ready, aware that the hidden path could conceal anything: old traps, collapsing walls, or someone waiting to stop them. After several minutes, the tunnel widened into a small chamber. The walls were lined with shelves holding crates, papers, and artifacts long forgotten. Among them, Harper noticed maps of Willow Creek with strange markings, letters from the Millers, and a collection of journals. The young man's eyes widened and, "This is incredible," he breathed. "All of the Millers' secrets hidden here all this time." Harper moved carefully, examining the materials. "It's more than just a hidden stash. This is a record of the town itself. Decisions, betrayals, alliances, everything that shaped Willow Creek." A sudden noise startled them. The scrape of a shoe on stone from the tunnel behind. Harper spun, flashlight revealing an empty passage. She tensed, feeling the presence of someone else in the shadows. "Detective, someone's here," the young man whispered, his voice shaking, and Harper nodded. "Stay calm. Whoever it is, they're following us, but we know more than they do now." The passage leads to another exit, closer to the heart of the town. "We keep moving." They pressed forward, using the journal and letters to guide them. The tunnel curved sharply, opening to a small hidden opening near an old mill at the creek's edge. Harper paused, listening. The creek water lapped gently against the banks, masking any approaching footsteps. NTHE young man peered out, shivering in the cold night air. "So this is where the notes led us. But what now?" Harper knelt to examine the final clue. A letter pinned to the wooden post of the hidden exit. It read, "NN. You are close. The truth lies where the Millers' legacy begins. But beware, the town has eyes in every shadow." Harper's jaw tightened. The mystery was far from over, but she could sense the end approaching. The Millers' legacy, buried for decades, would finally be revealed. As they emerged from the passage, a figure stepped from the mist near the creek, familiar, silent, and watching. Harper froze, flashlight illuminating the outline of someone waiting, ready to prevent the secrets from being exposed. Detective Harper reaches the heart of the Millers' secret at the edge of Willow Creek. But someone has been waiting for her, and the confrontation could decide whether the town finally learns the truth. NTHE mist clung to the creek like a veil, softening the outlines of trees and old wooden docks. Harper and her companion approached the old Millers' estate, the original homestead that had long been shuttered. The letters, the journal, and the hidden passage had all led here, to the place where Willow Creek's history had been written, buried, and guarded for generations. NTHE estate looked abandoned, but Harper's instincts screamed otherwise. Every broken shutter, every boarded window seemed deliberate, as if someone had been waiting for intruders. She glanced at the young man beside her. "Stay close," she whispered. The Millers weren't careless with their secrets. Whoever is here knows exactly what's at stake. They entered through the side door, long, loose from decay, and stepped cautiously into the grand entry hall. Dust swirled around the candlelight Harper had brought. Portraits of stern-looking Millers stared down from the walls, as though judging the intruders daring to uncover decades-old secrets. Ray shadow moved at the top of the staircase. Harper's flashlight cut across it, revealing Thomas Harlan, the same figure who had stalked her in Willow Creek before. His presence was deliberate, controlling, and clearly anticipating her arrival. "Detective Harper," he said smoothly, stepping into the light. So predictable. Following the notes, tracing the hidden passage, and here you are, at the very heart of the Millers' legacy. But some secrets are meant to remain hidden. Harper raised her revolver steadily. "Harlan, it ends tonight. Willow Creek deserves the truth, and I won't let you stop it." Harlan laughed softly, the sound echoing through the empty hall. "You think this is about truth? It's about power, influence, and survival. The Millers left their secrets for a reason. Exposing them will ruin more than a few families. It could destroy the town itself." Harper's eyes narrowed. "And that's why you've been trying to control the past, Harlan? To protect yourself and others from accountability?" Harlan's expression hardened. "Detective, sometimes survival requires difficult choices. But you are persistent. I'll give you that. Follow me if you dare." NHE turned and vanished up the staircase, motioning them to follow. Harper hesitated only a moment before signaling her companion to stay close. They ascended carefully, the stairs groaning underfoot. At the top, Harlan stopped in a room lined with old books and ledgers. A large desk held the Millers' final journals, the last piece of the puzzle. Harper scanned the documentary. Names, dates, and detailed accounts of decades-old events were recorded with painstaking accuracy. The legacy of the Millers, decisions, alliances, betrayals, all meticulously documented. "You see," Harlan said, gesturing toward the journals. "Even now, the past weighs heavily. Uncovering these secrets will not bring peace, only more chaos." Harper stepped forward. "Or perhaps it will bring justice. The town deserves to know its history, and you can't stop it now." Suddenly, the young man gasped and pointed toward the window. Outside, another figure moved among the trees, silent, masked, and intent on taking the journals before they could be revealed. Harper realized then that Harlan wasn't the only obstacle. The Millers' secrets were still at risk, and the true danger had yet to show its face. Detective Harper discovers a hidden witness who has been observing the Millers' legacy for decades. Their testimony could finally reveal the full truth. But danger lurks just outside, threatening to erase the town's history forever. NTHE masked figure outside the window froze for a moment, as if realizing they had been spotted. Harper's pulse quickened. The night was thick with fog, the creek water reflecting fragmented moonlight and silver shards. She knew time was short. Whoever was lurking there might act before the Millers' legacy could be secured. "Detective, look!" the young man whispered, pointing toward a narrow door at the back of the room. "There's someone hiding." Harper approached carefully. The door creaked open to reveal a small, dimly lit room. Inside, A frail, elderly woman sat quietly, her eyes wide and alert, as if she had been waiting for them all along. A thin blanket covered her shoulders, and she held a small, leather-bound notebook in her hands. "And I've been expecting you," she said softly. "I am Margaret Collins. I have watched over the Millers' secrets for decades. My family was their closest friend, entrusted with keeping the truth safe until the right person came along." Harper's eyes widened. "Margaret Collins, you mean all this time you've been a witness to everything?" Margaret nodded. "Yes, detective. I saw the disappearances, the hidden meetings." The careful notes passed from one generation to the next. The Millers knew the town could not handle the full story yet, but they also knew it must be revealed someday. Confirm motioned for the young man to stay close, as she spoke gently. "Margaret, your testimony can finally explain everything, but we must be cautious. Someone is still out there trying to stop us." Margaret's hands trembled as she handed Harper the notebook. "This contains my accounts, what I saw, what I recorded, every secret hidden beneath the creek, in the estate, and in the journals. It will guide you to the truth and protect the legacy from being erased." Harper flipped through the pages. Names, dates, cryptic entries, and detailed sketches of hidden passageways filled the notebook. Every observation Margaret had made could now be used to connect the dots. Then the sound of breaking wood echoed from outside. Harper's eyes snapped to the window. The masked figure had moved closer, breaking through the estate's outer fence, drawn by the journals and Margaret's testimony. Harper's heart raced. They couldn't afford to lose either the testimony or the Millers. "Records and stay behind me," Harper whispered to the young man. She held her revolver steadily, scanning the shadows. The creek's mist obscured the figure, but Harper could sense their intent. Determined, patient, and willing to risk everything to keep the past buried. Margaret's voice trembled, but her eyes were resolute. "Detective, they've tried to erase the Millers' secrets for years. You must protect the evidence, and the truth must come to light." Harper nodded. "We will, Margaret. We won't let them succeed." As the figure outside finally stepped into the dim light, revealing a gloved hand reaching toward the window, Harper realized the true confrontation was imminent. This was more than protecting secrets. It was a battle for Willow Creek's history, and the hidden witness might be their only hope of survival. The masked intruder breaches the estate, and Detective Harper must chase them through the misty streets of Willow Creek. Every step brings danger, revelation, and the possibility of finally unearthing the Millers' long-hidden secret. The NTHE masked figure lunged through the broken window, disappearing into the dense mist surrounding the estate. Harper's heart pounded as she shouted, "After them!" NTHE young man followed closely, stumbling slightly on the wet grass. The creek's edge gleamed faintly in the moonlight, and the fog made everything look otherworldly. Shadows twisted, trees seemed to move, and every noise echoed unnaturally. Harper knew that one wrong step could give the intruder the advantage. They sprinted along the narrow streets of Willow Creek, past silent houses and shuttered shops. Harper kept her flashlight low, using it sparingly to avoid alerting the figure. Each corner turned revealed another shrouded alley, another puddle reflecting the pale moonlight, and another glimpse of movement in the fog. NNTHE intruder led them toward the old mill at the edge of town, the very place where the hidden passage had opened earlier. Harper's mind raced. The journals, Margaret's notebook, the letters, all of it could be destroyed if she didn't catch this person in time. Ahead, the masked figure slipped into a narrow passage between the mill and the creek. Harper vaulted over a low fence, landing in the mud, and saw the gloved hands clutching one of the Millers' journals. She lunged, nearly catching them, but the figure twisted away, disappearing further into the mist. NNTHE chase continued along the creek bank, footsteps splashing through shallow water, mist curling around the trees like ghostly fingers. Harper's revolver was ready, flashlight in one hand, eyes scanning every shadow. She caught a glimpse of the intruder climbing an old stone wall near the mill, their silhouette momentarily illuminated by the moon. "Stop!" Harper shouted. "The Millers, secrets are not yours to take." NTHE figure hesitated, then dropped the journal into the water, causing Harper to gasp. It floated briefly, but she managed to snatch it before it sank, gripping it tightly against her chest. NTHE intruder stumbled backward and fell into a shallow ditch, the mist hiding them for a moment. Harper approached cautiously, revolver trained on the figure. "It's over. Step into the light." N.S. lowly. The masked figure rose. Harper's flashlight revealed a familiar face, one she hadn't expected. The town's own historian, Samuel Haynes, someone who had seemed loyal to the town's records, now revealed himself as the person trying to keep the Millers' secrets buried forever, and I couldn't let it be exposed. Haynes stammered, rain dripping from his hair. Some truths, they could ruin lives. I was protecting the town. Harper lowered her revolver slightly. Protecting the town? By destroying its history? The town deserves the truth, Samuel. You can't decide that alone. Nin Haynes' eyes darted toward the creek. "You don't understand," he whispered before a sudden movement in the fog indicated he might try to flee again. Harper tightened her grip on the journal, ready for whatever would happen next. The chase wasn't over, and Willow Creek's secrets were still at stake. Detective Harper corners the masked historian at the old mill, uncovering shocking truths about the Millers' legacy. Willow Creek's history begins to surface, but every revelation brings new questions. The old mill loomed ahead, its wooden beams creaking under the weight of years. Harper's flashlight cut through the lingering fog, illuminating the waterlogged boards beneath her boots. Samuel Haynes, still dripping from the creek chase, stood with the Millers, journal clutched tightly in his hands. "You need to tell me everything," Harper demanded, voice steady despite her pounding heart. "Why did you try to steal these records?" Haynes swallowed hard, his eyes darting toward the shadows. I thought I was protecting Willow Creek," he said. "The Millers' family kept secrets, things that could destroy reputations, businesses, families. I promised my mentor, your friend Margaret Collins, that I'd make sure some things stayed buried." Harper shook her head slowly. "Secrets don't protect anyone, Samuel. They only grow more dangerous with time. And you nearly destroyed history in the process." Nain's shoulders sagged. "I didn't know it would come to this. I followed the notes, the hidden passage, thinking I could control the outcome. But when you found the journal, I panicked." And Harper motioned for the young man to stay back while she carefully retrieved the journal from Haynes. She flipped through the pages, illuminated by the flashlight and moonlight streaming through broken windows. The Millers' meticulous records chronicled generations of decisions, the construction of the town, secret dealings with influential families, and hidden charitable acts that shaped Willow Creek quietly, away from public view. "N.N. This is extraordinary," Harper murmured. "Every piece connects. The disappearances, the alliances, the journals. It all makes sense now." Haynes sank to his knees. "I wanted to protect that sense of order. I thought exposing it would ruin everyone, even innocent people. I didn't see another way." Harper stepped closer. "The truth is always the safer path in the long run. Margaret Collins left you the responsibility to witness, not control. History doesn't belong to one person." NNSHE glanced toward the young man who had been her companion throughout this investigation. "And together, we can ensure the Millers' legacy is preserved honestly, without destruction or fear." At that moment, the fog shifted, revealing the first light of dawn. Willow Creek slowly awoke to a new day, the mist dissipating to reveal the familiar streets, shops, and houses. For decades, the town had lived with whispered legends and half-truths, and now those secrets were finally ready to be shared. And Haynes exhaled, relief mingling with guilt. "I understand now. The town deserves to know its history. I'll help you ensure it's told correctly." Harper nodded, careful but resolute. "Good. That's all we needed. And now, the story can finally reach the people of Willow Creek." Just as they prepared to leave the mill, Harper noticed a faint figure watching from the edge of the creek. Someone unknown, silently observing their every move. Even with the historian's confession and the journal in hand, the sense of being watched lingered. Willow Creek's secrets were coming to light, but the shadows weren't entirely gone. Detective Harper prepares to reveal the Millers' secrets to Willow Creek. The town is about to learn the full story, but reactions may be unpredictable, and someone is still watching from the shadows. Then the morning sun rose over Willow Creek, scattering the last tendrils of fog along the streets. Harper, Haynes, and the young companion carried the journals and Margaret Collins' notebook back to the town hall, where a meeting had been quietly arranged. Word of the discoveries had spread cautiously among a select group of residents who had been allies of the Millers, ensuring the audience would be receptive yet attentive. And Harper entered the hall first, laying the carefully preserved journals on a long wooden table. The room was silent, except for the soft hum of early sunlight through tall windows. The townspeople, a mix of older residents and a few younger historians, exchanged curious glances. "Ladies and gentlemen," Harper began, her voice clear and confident. "For decades, Willow Creek has lived with stories, rumors, and fragments of truth about the Millers and their role in shaping this town. Today, we finally bring the full story to light." NGASPs rippled through the room as Harper began recounting the events detailed in the journals. The careful record-keeping, the hidden passages, the charitable acts, and the difficult decisions that the Millers had made to protect the town's future. She described Margaret Collins' role as a guardian of these secrets and the threats they had encountered along the way, including Haynes' misguided attempt to control the information. N. Haynes stood quietly, his hands folded, occasionally nodding as Harper spoke. When the detective paused, he addressed the audience. "I thought I was protecting Willow Creek by keeping these secrets hidden," he admitted, voice low but steady. "But Detective Harper has shown me that history belongs to everyone, and the truth, while sometimes difficult, is what our town needs to move forward." NNTHE townspeople murmured among themselves, absorbing decades of untold history. Some faces showed surprise, others relief, and a few betrayed a touch of guilt, having lived unknowingly under decisions made in the shadows. Harper continued, showing sketches of hidden passages, letters, and the ledger of decisions made by the Millers over generations. Each revelation painted a fuller picture of Willow Creek's past, not perfect, but courageous, resilient, and carefully guarded. "You see," Harper concluded, "the Millers' actions shaped the town quietly, often invisibly. Their choices, mistakes, and wisdom are now ours to understand, learn from, and preserve. And it is our responsibility to ensure the legacy is honored truthfully, without fear, deception, or further secrecy." A moment of silence followed. Then, slowly, applause began, soft at first, then growing, as more residents stood to acknowledge the dedication and courage of those who had preserved the town's history. Yet, Harper's instincts remained sharp. Outside, near the edge of the hall, a shadow lingered in the doorway, watching, waiting. Someone was still uncertain about the revelations, still resistant to the light of truth. Willow Creek had heard the story, but the town's shadows had not yet fully receded. The Millers' secrets had been revealed, and Willow Creek must face its history. Detective Harper sees the town emerge into a new day. The lessons of the past remain, and the future depends on the choices made. NNTHE's sun had fully risen over Willow Creek, bathing the streets in warm golden light. The fog was gone, replaced by clarity and quiet optimism. Detective Harper walked through the town square, the journals safely returned to the town archives, and Margaret Collins' notebook was preserved alongside them. People greeted each other with smiles that carried the weight of understanding. Conversations were different now, reflective, thoughtful, and tinged with a newfound respect for the town's history. Families shared stories they had never spoken of. Historians examined the records with careful attention, and even those who had once feared exposure seemed ready to face the truth. And Harper paused at the edge of the square, observing the town as it adjusted to the revelations. Samuel Haynes approached, his expression a mixture of relief and humility. "You were right," he admitted softly. "Keeping secrets didn't protect anyone. The town was stronger when the truth was shared." Harper nodded. "History is a teacher. Secrets can protect for a time, but ultimately, understanding and honesty allow a community to grow." Margaret Collins, now settled comfortably at the town archives, waved at Harper. "You've done more than uncover the Millers' legacy," she said. "You've restored confidence in the town's past and shown that courage and vigilance ensure a brighter future." NNTHE detective smiled faintly, watching children play near the creek, their laughter carrying over the water. Even the old mill, now quiet and safe, seemed less foreboding under the morning light. Willow Creek had endured decades of hidden truths, but now the town had a chance to rebuild with knowledge rather than fear. And Harper reflected on the journey, the letters, the hidden passage, the chase through the mist, the confrontation at the mill, and the final revelation to the townspeople. Every step had been a test of patience, courage, and perception. And in the end, the combination of careful investigation, community trust, and the guidance of Margaret Collins had led to a resolution that honored the Millers' intentions while allowing the town to grow. NNSHE glanced toward the edge of the square and noticed the faintest shadow, lingering at a distance, silent and observing. Harper's instincts told her that while the secrets of the Millers had been revealed, vigilance was never truly over. Some lessons must be remembered, some histories continuously guarded, not hidden, but respected and acknowledged. Turning back toward the center of town, Harper watched as residents worked together to restore old buildings, organize town meetings, and reconnect with one another. The Millers' legacy, once cloaked in secrecy, was now a foundation upon which Willow Creek could build openly, and Harper exhaled, feeling a rare sense of peace. "The town is reborn," she murmured to herself. "The shadows have passed, but the lessons remain. History is no longer a mystery. It's a guide." NBY. Midday, the town square was alive with conversation and activity. Journals were cataloged, notes preserved, and families shared stories that had been locked away for generations. Willow Creek's past was no longer a source of fear, but a framework for community, understanding, and connection. And Detective Harper walked along the creek, sunlight reflecting off the water, knowing that the town would never forget what had been uncovered. The Millers' secrets had been revealed, the hidden witness had spoken, and the misguided attempts to suppress the truth had been overcome. Willow Creek was no longer a town of whispers. It was a town reborn, ready to face its future openly, honestly, and together.